everyone, happy women's day all. So நம்ம இன்னைக்கு என்ன பேச போறோம் அப்படினா vaginal health பத்தி பேச போறோம். So what is vaginal health? Why so specifically it is important? All of us know like we have got a lot of complaints pertaining to the vagina. So என்னென்ன common complaints அப்படினா white discharges which can varies in types, that is like curdy, frothy, associated with itching, sometimes yellowish greenish color. Some people can have recurrent vaginal itchings. Sometimes because of this white discharges people also develop a lower abdomen pain also வந்து சில சமயம் இருக்கிறதுக்கு வாய்ப்புகள் உண்டு. And third thing, sometimes occasionally intermittent bleeding, spotting. Sometimes especially after sexual intercourse people start having a vaginal infections. So all these things. So why this happens? Why frequently அப்படின்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா, because for that we have to know about the vagina first. Vagina is lined by an inner skin which we call mucosa. That pH of that vagina it should be maintained properly, then only these disturbances won't come. So the pH of the vagina is more acidic na pH will be between 3.8 to 4.5. So in the pH maarichu அப்படினா you get into trouble. Why this pH gets altered? Because the balance between the good and bad bacteria goes up and down. That is why when the bad bacteria is more, you get like more of alkaline pH, that is pH increases. Whereas when the good bacteria is well balanced, then you have a good acidic pH. So this is what it is. So which bacteria is predominant in the vagina is lactobacillus. So you have to maintain a good supply of lactobacillus to the vagina, or else you should not disturb the lactobacillus which is present over there. So is there any food sources which supply good bacteria? Yeah, of course you have a lot of probiotics like yogurt, keera, buttermilk and all will supply a good source of bacteria which we should consume in large quantities to maintain that. That is one. Second thing is like the hairs around the vagina should be clipped, or it should be like scissor cut, or sometimes you can use creams. If you are not sensitive to the creams you can use it, but otherwise certain people will develop sensitivity to the vaginal creams, in which case preferably a shaver or a razor or just a scissor clipping is more than enough. Because if there is excessive hair, there is a lot of dampening happening in the air which will invite the fungus and disturbs the area which can cause itching. So that is one thing. Third thing is like the vagina should be kept dry. So இப்போ எப்படி நம்ம மார்னிங் ஒர்க் ட்ரெஸ் பண்ணிட்டு போகிறோம் இல்லை வீட்டில் இருக்கோம், மார்னிங் ட்ரெஸ் இஸ் டிஃப்ரெண்ட், பட் பை த டைம் வி கோ பேக் டு பெட் வி ஜஸ்ட் வாண்ட் டு ஹேவ் லூஸ் கிளாத்ஸ், வி வாண்ட் டு ஹேவ் அ ஏர் சர்க்குலேஷன் ஆல் த்ரூ அவுட், வி வாஷ் அவர் ஃபேஸ், வி ரிமூவ் அவர் மேக்கப். சிமிலர்லி த வெஜைனாக்கும் யூ ஹாவ் டு கிவ் அ ஃப்ரெஷ் ஏர் which will wipe off all your smells, which will wipe off all your excessive discharges, which will wipe off all your bad bacteria from there. So for that it is very mandatory that you have to change your innerwears to a new ones in the night, or else certain people do not use it in the night. That is welcoming, no problem. And third thing is like always in this always keep it dry. How whenever you go to washroom, you actually like after your washroom please do use a cloth or a tissue paper to wipe off and keep that area dry. So these are all the basic hygienic measures or basic care, like how much care you give for your facial skin, the similar care has to be put over there to keep it healthy so that we don't get into trouble. The most important thing I would say is like to put a tight clothes all throughout the day. That is like you put a leggings or a jeggings as your almost everyday wear can cause trouble, because our climatic conditions are not so, because we have a lot of fluctuations in summer, winter, mid seasons. So in such cases for our atmosphere there is a lot of retention of the moisture inside. So when you're going to put your clothes so tight adu ellame ange hold aikum, that won't, it is getting trapped. So the vagina does not get any free circulation of air. But the similar thing when you put like loose pants, palazzos or crop pants or even saris or normal salwar pants, it allows a free circulation of air. So whenever the area is wet because of your discharges, or because when you go to washroom and just wet, this circulation of air will change it and keep it dry. Whereas when you put a tight clothing it may not happen so years and months of usage of this tight clothing actually damages your vaginal thing to a great extent. So we would suggest like to change your clothes frequently on and off. So the cloth pattern for the down preferably, and never ever use a tight clothing as a routine in your household. At least professionally or when you go out, when you want to sleep like match with your clothes, that's fine. So take care of the balance between your clothing. That's very much essential. And apart from that I would suggest like take a pap smear from your mouth of the cervix at least once in 3 to 5 years. For people who are married, for people who are unmarried, there is no requirement of a pap smear if they are not like sexually involved. So put up all these things put together. So shaving your hairs, balancing your bacteria through food intake, keeping the vagina dry, taking care of your clothings, and taking your pap smear or routine visit will always keep your vagina healthy. Because if a vagina is not healthy, we know like how much irritations, how much our everyday life gets disturbed. So please take care of your vaginal health, which will keep all your vaginal related diseases away. Thank you.